anyhow, I'm going to follow up, obviously, and I give you the names. That's okay. However, Right Honourable Speaker, and yes, for you, you're saying, Right Honourable Speaker, that might not be your interest, and I respectfully take what it is that you're saying, but for me, it is my interest that government officials follow the law, and that these who are untouchable get to be dealt with. It might not be the interest of government or whoever, but for me, as a citizen of Uganda, as a leader in this country, it is my interest
Leader of opposition.
that everybody follows the law. Right Honourable Speaker, it should be our interest. It should be your interest too, Right Honourable Speaker, because you're the custodian of the Constitution. I'm a little bit disappointed.
We have a Prime Minister who is responsible for all government officials. My work is limited to here. So the Prime Minister should take it up from there. For us, let's do what we ought to do.
Most obliged, Right Honourable Speaker. And if you permit, maybe we shall request the Prime Minister to come to Parliament with a statement on that, because it is my assertion that some people are above the law. But government can correct that assertion. And so I do oblige that maybe we should ask the Prime Minister to come to this House with a statement saying no one is untouchable, and so this government official who did this is going to be dealt with in this way in accordance with the law.
Let me first have
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker. I'm raising on an issue that you talked about in your communication about the tax bills and the subsequent budget process that we are in. Right Honourable Speaker, I will request to remind you and the House that USAID has been a major funder of our health sector. And there have been serious changes that put USAID off. It is very important, Right Honourable Speaker, that as we conclude the budget process, the Minister of Health, together with the Minister of Finance, addresses Parliament on what amount of money we are missing as a result of USAID being put off, and what effect it has on our health sector, and how we prepare to recover. Because it used to cover issues like test kits for malaria and HIV, and very essential medicines for our people and ourselves. I think it's very important, Right Honourable Speaker, that it comes out now from Ministry of Finance and Health, the impact, the effect of USAID and the attendant organizations like Global Fund that have been affected, and how they will affect the country, and how we are prepared in this budget to address these issues, Right Honourable Speaker. Thank you.
Honourable Minister, the issue Honourable Kimosha is raising, Honourable Minister of Finance, I hope you considered it in your budgeting on the
Thank
gaps.
you, Mr. Speaker. Sorry, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, we are in the last stages of budgeting, and hopefully by close of business tomorrow, we shall have passed the budget for next financial year. I wish to inform the House that we were cognizant of some of the decisions which were taken by some of the development partners, which have significant implications on the budget. And the budget we have prepared has taken care of the gaps that have arisen from some of those decisions.
Thank you. Thank you. Jonah?
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker. Madam Speaker, Parliament had required the Attorney General and Minister of Justice to bring a list of all persons being held on remand without trial, and the Attorney General's office committed at least twice, your deputy was here, yes, that the list would be prepared. And we brought this question in light of the overcrowding in our prisons, and the fact that of the 80,000 plus in prisons, nearly 40,000 have been on remand. Some of them have been on remand endlessly. And the Office of the Attorney General had said they are compiling the list they would bring here so that we see how to process it.
Thank you. Attorney General.
I think I either don't remember or I have not done it, but I will get the list. However, I don't know how we will deal with people on remand, because the moment a person is on remand, then they are under the auspices of the courts. And our rules don't allow us to discuss those matters. But I'll get the list on the people, because what the member wants is the list of people in prisons, those who are on remand, and those who have been tried. We'll provide it.
But the ones on remand, what is difficult with disposing of their cases?
That's a judiciary matter, Right Honourable Speaker.
And as we discuss the thing of remand, I hope we are cognizant that the prisons are full. We need to make a provision for accommodation of prisoners. We need to have that provision. Because when you look at what is happening with the prisons now, we will not interfere with the court comfortable. No, let him first.
Right Honourable Speaker and Honourable colleagues, the issue of congestion of the courts and the process of
not courts,
rather
prisons.
of the prisons and the process of justice has been discussed here in this House. And I'd like to thank the House, because you have increased the number of judges, you have increased the number of magistrates. We now have a magistrate. So we are trying as much as possible to try and move these processes on faster. Right Honourable Speaker, now we have a G1 at every constituency, trying to get these cases dealt with as fast as possible. We still struggle with the number of state attorneys available to run in all these places, but we are trying our level best, Right Honourable Speaker. Right Honourable Speaker, we'll ask the judiciary to share with us this information, and we'll come and share with you, but everything is being done, Right Honourable Speaker, to try and speed up these processes.
Honourable Attorney General, I'm saying much as we have the numbers there and we are doing all it takes to reduce the backlog, let's have sufficient accommodation for these people. You need to see what is there. You need to see what is there, because we just need, prisons needs very little money to make sure that they have accommodation. Yes?
Right Honourable Speaker, in the last 2 years, when we are processing the budget, indeed what you are saying is the prison authorities appear and have raised this issue of accommodation. And one of the reasons they advance is that you have many people, perhaps on remand, who have gone beyond even the sentences they would have got if they were formally processed. So I think what we need to do, Madam Speaker, is to perhaps through the committee of the relevant committee to look into this issue, work with the Attorney General to see where the problem could be, because it's not enough for us even to give the budget, but can we decongest prisons by being more efficient in processing these cases?
Madam Speaker.
Yes,
Madam Speaker.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Mine is an appeal to the Attorney General, who is the legal principal advisor of government, either as a principal legal advisor or as a friend, because last time you were the one chairing the parties of General Mosca and Rugaba. Please help us as a country. I don't think that's a company you want to keep. A legal principal advisor of government that people can be abducted and tortured in basements. Please give us a commitment that if you can't advise as a principal legal advisor, at least as a friend, because we need to live in peace.
thank you.
Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, it is sometimes difficult to speak after my brother, but I want to agree with you that we have a very big problem of overpopulation in our prisons. I give a reference of Massaf prison in Busia district, which was built to accommodate almost 30 prisoners, but it has almost 800 per now. It is terrible. And the structures were built in 1960s. They are very old. They don't give a true picture of modernity. I don't know whether it is a problem with internal affairs. Even the same case is going to the police station of Busia. If you go to Busia, Uganda, and look at the police station compared with the police station of Kenya, you think we are still living in the old Stone Age period. And therefore, Madam Speaker, the chairman is saying that smugglers are arrested there. There's no smuggler in Busia. All those people are cross-border traders. There's no smuggler in Busia at all. The Kube market in Kenya and the market of Busia, those are markets of cross-border traders. And even Honorable Cheru was a cross-border trader, the State Minister for Works. So, therefore, Madam Speaker, as they work on the prison of Masaf to construct it, and the prison and the police station of Busia.
Right, Honorable Speaker, the records are very clear. I have never been involved in trading, whether cross borders. I have never been in trading, but it's in order for a colleague to say that he knows I was involved in cross-border trade when he doesn't have such facts.
So therefore, Madam Speaker,
at least you are an arrow boy.
Therefore, Madam Speaker and my colleagues, it is my prayer that the police station of Busia, which is a gateway to Uganda, they should be considered among the police stations that are going to be constructed this year, and even massive prisons. However, Honorable Minister, I've just remembered you're a freedom fighter. Thank you.
Madam Speaker. Madam, thank you very much, Madam Speaker.
Yes, Francis.
Honorable Speaker, the information I wanted to give the House, and that I'm giving now, is that when the Human Rights Committee of Parliament visited Ruzira, there were prisoners who shouted and said, "We have been here for 28 years. And when we interrogated, we found some of them, including a one-year Ruhanga, have been in prison for 28 years and have never visited court. And they say they are there on the minister's orders. And we are told there are very many like those, 28 years, 26 years, the Attorney General knows when they say minister's orders. There are people who are in prison on minister's orders. I don't know who that minister is. Pending. Yes, pending. And they have never gone to court. Leave alone remand and you go to court and come back to prisons. These ones have never left Ruzira for 28 years. So we're asking, can't he come in as the Attorney General and advise on how, if they can't try them, let them, so that we deal with congestion. Otherwise, some of, actually 3 are from Buhweju. The one we are Ruhanga is from Buhweju. There were 3 from Barara. And our concern, right, Honourable Speaker, is that those, if they cannot be prosecuted, then they should be released so that we can decongest these prisons.
Honorable AG, kindly make a follow-up on the decongestion of prisons and make sure that the people that we've recruited, the judges, the magistrates, all those people should make sure that we reduce the number.
Honorable Speaker, I just wanted to help the House with some statistics that are very alarming. Our country's prisons, the holding capacity of all the prisons in this our country is 22,000 prisoners. As we speak today, the number of prisoners in these prisons is 79,000 against a holding capacity of 22,000. That means an excess of over 57,000. That's problematic. Part of the issue, well, yes, space and the need for expansion, but part of the issue is the judicial processes and how they get to happen. That people get to be on remand for donkey's years. It is wrong. Honorable Speaker, I have said severally on this floor, asking the Attorney General and government to help us understand. The Supreme Court on 31st of January said all of these people who are being held by the General Court Martial, and there are several of them, let their files be transferred to civilian courts. That way they can pursue bail and so on and so forth. To date, it has not happened. And the Attorney General has been silent on this matter. I don't know why they continue to be in contempt of a decision of the Supreme Court. Because that's part of the reason why we have all of these congestions. Because they are on the other end, the General Court Martial denied them bail, a number of them. Why not transfer their files to the civilian courts? They get to pursue bail, or that their matters are tried expeditiously. Because some of these people have been held for years upon years. Why? The Attorney General should help us understand.
Attorney General, give us a report to that effect. You'll give us a report. Next item. Tuesday.
Item 3 on the order paper. Bills first reading. The Political Parties and Organizations Amendment Bill 2025.
Honorable members, you recall yesterday the House granted leave to Honorable Nakut Faith, a woman MP of Napak, to introduce a private member's bill, the Political Parties and Organizations Amendment Bill. I'm reliably informed that the bill is ready for first reading, and I hereby invoke Rule 127 and Rule 134 of the Rules of Procedure and invite Honorable Nakut, the sponsor, to lay the bill for the first reading. Yes. Let her finish, then you
Thank you very much, Right Honourable Speaker.
Now let Nakut finish for the record, then you come with the procedure.
Right Honourable Speaker, in accordance to Rule 134 of our Rules of Procedure, I beg to move that the bill entitled the Political Parties and Organizations Amendment Bill 2025 be read for the first time.
Thank you. Pursuant to Rule 135(2) of the Rules of Procedure, the bill stands referred to Committee of Legal and Political and Parliamentary Affairs.
Right Honourable Speaker, I have a copy of the bill and a certificate of financial implication. I beg to lay the certificate of financial implication
Madam Speaker.
and a copy of the bill.
Can I have a look at?
Procedure, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I want to ask the Minister of Finance, at what time in the night did he produce this certificate of financial implication?
When we talk about efficiency, now...
Madam Speaker, I wish to inform Honorable Nandara that the government does not sleep. We worked within the time possible to ensure that we studied, we analyzed, and we have come up with a certificate of financial implication to the bill.
Next item. Yes, Patrick. Let Patrick first. Patrick was on the floor.
Thank you very much, Right Honourable Speaker. Right Honourable Speaker, I want to plead with you. Yesterday, when that same bill came here, we wanted to have a chance to debate its intention, the motion. The way it was ran to grant her a leave, it was a very high speed, not following the rules on how private members' bill come before us. In the same situation, Right Honourable Speaker, I'm seeing a member. Yesterday she was not the one on the order paper. Now she's here running as if she's trafficking something very dangerous to this nation. Right Honourable Speaker, with all due respect, private members' bills coming before this House, people must have the ability to talk about them, their purpose, and the members must debate and give permission to the member
But Right Honourable Speaker, the way things are moving, it looks like there is something serious being trafficked in this House.
Honorable members, there is nothing being trafficked in this House. Each member has a right to introduce a private member. If you don't want it, wait for the bill to come for the next reading and you reject it. The power is in you. You will not suffocate anybody from bringing a bill. You brought a bill here. You are the same person who withdrew your bill, Honorable Patrick. So let the lady exercise her power. Let's wait for the bill to come for the next reading. Let it go to the committee. If you have any issue with that bill, go to the committee and let it be rejected there. But as of me, I will not suffocate my members. Next item. Yes, Lop.
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker. Honourable Speaker, there is a saying I read many years ago, I'm not even too sure who it is attributed to, that I may disagree with what you say, but I will defend to death your right to say it. I may have issues with the bill being promoted by my sister, Honourable Nakut, but I think she has the right to bring her bill, and then we get to see how we deal with it. My concern, and yes, we are going to have occasion to deal with it in the committee stage, and then ultimately when we get to the House and we discuss, how plausible it is that you can force people, you sit and negotiate and discuss by force. We'll get to that point. My concern though, Right Honourable Speaker, even as she has the right to bring any kind of bill in this House, I have an issue and I request for your guidance procedurally, Right Honourable Speaker. There is a hurriedness through which we seem to be doing these things, which is concerning. Yesterday, she did seek leave to bring this bill. I don't know where the consultations got to happen as quickly as they have happened. Certificate of financial implication.
The committee is going to make consultation.
Honourable Speaker, kindly allow me, because you're going to rule, let me just finish my procedural issue for your guidance, Right Honourable Speaker. So she's gotten the certificate of financial implication. Maybe in the night, government is saying they don't sleep. Okay. But then, and as I connect this even to the other bill that was tabled yesterday for the first reading, the UPDF amendment bill, yesterday it gets to be read for the first time, and there is a notice in the night, and people are being told, different stakeholders, Ministry of Defense, Attorney General, Law Reform Commission, Uganda Law Society, LDC, Secretary Generals of political parties, who were invited in the night to say, you come with your memoranda this morning at 9 a.m. to the committee to give your views on the UPDF amendment bill. This is a bill that is over 140 pages. People receive it in the evening, and there is a notice, including a gazette, Right Honourable Speaker, which was signed by the clerk to Parliament, saying, bring your memoranda not later than today, 14th. I don't know. It is suspect, Right Honourable Speaker, that we expect people hurriedly read through this bill in the night, come in the morning with a memoranda and views. Why do we seem to be rushing, Right Honourable Speaker? Because if these bills are good, the political parties and organizations amendment bill, the UPDF amendment bill, if they are good laws, why do we produce procedure, Honourable Chimosho? The rules don't allow you. Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker. So as I was saying, why, if these are good laws, why, I'm on procedure. Honourable Chimosho, you're a new member like me, kindly read the rules. The rules are very clear. Procedure takes precedence. The way I read as a first-time MP, I encourage you to also read them. And the new rules, by the way. Thank you, Honourable colleague. Honourable, as I was finishing.
You're not going to lecture my
No, I'm just encouraging him to read. Actually, Honourable Speaker, you should be happy that I'm encouraging members to read our rules. But as I finish, Right Honourable Speaker, if these bills are good bills, why do you not want to give them time? We excogitate over them. The different stakeholders get time to prepare their views and memoranda, come with it to the committees, and then we get to discuss them properly. Why are we hurrying? And Honourable Speaker, I want to table the notice that was put in the Gazette yesterday saying, bring your memoranda and your thoughts not later than today, and also the notice, the letter from the committee inviting Secretaries General and so on, written in the night saying come at 9 a.m. and give us your views about a bill that's 140 pages plus. Why are we in a hurry, Right Honorable Speaker? Why do we not give it time, get all the views? Because they are good bills. Allow people to give their input, and then we can debate these good bills. Thank you.
Thank you. We are only trying to be efficient as Parliament, and we should do the work and deliver within the time we expected. But that does not mean that if we have said, if clerk has said, bring your views, that the bill will be brought the next day. The committee is going to continue interrogating and come with the come with a report. I'm not saying they are bringing it today. Yeah, they will give the stakeholders time.
Madam
I
Speaker.
mean, there is no hurry.
Madam Speaker.
There is no hurry.
Madam Speaker.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker. The leader of opposition lectured me on how he has been reading the rules and how he has mastered them. But in his verbal utterances, didn't refer this Parliament to any rule that has been breached by a member.
Done.
And when you're on a point of procedure, Right Honourable, he ought to have referred to us which procedure of our rules has been breached. But when you talk randomly, because you're a leader of opposition, is he therefore procedurally right to keep wasting Parliament time because he's a leader of opposition and we listen to endless nothing?
Next item. Next item.
Item 4 on the order paper.
Jonah? What does the...
Thank you, right. Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, the procedure I want to raise is that yesterday you had made some guidance, you can call it a ruling, when the Honorable Matthias Mpuga had also sought to raise these issues, and you said is free to go to the committee. I wanted you to be clear whether the committee can entertain proposals that have not formally been introduced here, given that the advice was for him to work with the mover so that his ideas are incorporated. That's the first one. But the second one is to congratulate, I think, the House and Parliament and you, Madam Speaker. My learning of how parliamentary system works is that whenever a private member's bill, which is a right, is successful, it is an equivalent of a vote of no confidence in government, because government is the principal proposer of laws. So once there is success by a private member, it is a vote of no confidence in government. And I want to congratulate the House. Thank you.
It is actually not a vote of no confidence to government. All of us are part of government. AG.
Right Honourable Speaker, the Constitution envisaged, the framers, our forefathers, were very wise. They envisaged that when a private member wants to write a bill, he will work with government. And we work together so to be able to do the laws that are good for this country. So it is, but whether government fails or has an idea, we want to share your views as well. So it's not a vote of no confidence, but we shall look at the bill, and if we failed in our duty, we shall be sure to come and say we did, but I don't think we did.
UPC. Let me first hear from the president of UPC. On who? Let's hear from the president first.
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker. I have a critical matter concerning this bill because it touches on iPod, where I have been central to in crafting and coming to a point whereby we can have this actual dialogue. But I would like to lay on table a letter written on the 2nd of April 2025, addressed to the Minister of Justice and Constitutional Affairs. It's a brief letter. I request I can read through it.
What is the letter about? I thought that's what you do take to the committee, you discuss it in the committee.
It's important, I think I read it and lay it on the table for the record. The subject matter is request to convene an urgent meeting between the heads of political parties and the Independent Electoral Commission on party funding. Subject to Article 14A.
Honorable Kena, we are discussing the merits of the bill which has not come to the floor. Attorney General, is that really? Huh? Let's have it taken to the committee.
My understanding of Rule 134 is that once it goes to the committee, we wait to deal with the committee, but I don't know whether it is. I was answering the question put by the Speaker.
Right, Honourable Speaker, it would be helpful if we try to listen to one another,
Yes.
I think, which is the basis of dialogue.
Anyway, let's
It's a basis of dialogue.
Let's allow him to
Just a second.
to have
Allow, Madam Speaker, Madam Speaker.
Right, Honourable Speaker, it's on the dress code.
Done.
This is on the dress code, Right, Honourable Speaker. It's
Done.
a dress code issue, Right, Honourable Speaker.
Madam
It's in our
Speaker.
rules.
Okay, first sit. Honorable Jimmy, just a minute. Honorable Jimmy, we made rules here, but for today, the Speaker gave Honorable Jimmy permission because he came and he sought permission in the office.
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker.
Can we listen? Can we listen?
Right Honourable Speaker, we are trying to deal. We're dealing with the
Honorable
very.
members, can we listen to each other?
Can we deal with a serious matter which is affecting the processes within the political parties? The purpose of this letter was written and was confirmed today by the Minister of State for Finance, who raised the issue that we're in the final stages of the budget process. Article 14A prescribes how finances to political parties are handled in election year, and the meeting was requesting that we streamline this issue with our work plans to the election. Suddenly we find the private members bill which affects Article 14A, which we had raised, and this letter was written, and Madam Speaker, if I cannot read the letter, at least let me say who it was copied to. It was copied to the Speaker of Parliament of Uganda, copied to the Leader of Opposition, copied to the presidents of NUP, FDC, GEMA, PPP, and the chairman of NRM, and the chairperson of the National Independent Electoral Commission. It was written by the president of Uganda People's Congress, signed and delivered on the 2nd of April. This touches the actual financing of political parties, and we're in the process, we're deep in elections, and now we're getting an amendment, and this amendment will directly affect this matter, which has been served on government, the ministry concerned, the political players concerned, and I'd wanted to lay this on table for the record because this letter was written on the 2nd of April to the Minister of Justice and Constitutional Affairs, Honorable Norbert Mao. The subject matter is request to convene an urgent meeting between the heads of political parties and the Independent Electoral Commission on political parties funding because of the stage we are in the electoral process. So the above subject matter refers, subject to Article 14A, Section B of the Political Parties and Organizations Amendment Act 2010 that provides for the political parties on equal.
The procedure issue I have a lot of respect for Honorable Jimmy Akena. I don't know whether now this parliament is going to begin working on letters. In fact, I thought he's going to lay court order. So the procedure issue I am raising, Madam Speaker, can I repeat? Because I said I have lots of respect for Honorable Jimmy Akena. But as a first son, he's been fantastic. He doesn't keep people in the basement. or teaching them his language. But the point, Madam Speaker, I thought that the Honorable Jim Makene, because he's very forceful in his presentation, and actually I want to listen to him, I thought he's going to lay a court order. Because if I write a letter, why should Parliament be bothered by a letter that I wrote and stop business to attend to it? Because tomorrow, if I bring one of PFF, I have written to Electoral Commission, they haven't gazetted my party. So should I also bring it tomorrow and I stop discussion of a bill? Because the Electoral Commission has not issued the certificate.
The letter is for information. It will not stop anything. It will not. It even doesn't make anybody worried. The law will go ahead.
Madam Speaker, as political parties, we are worried. We are worried. We have crafted IPOD, we have sat in IPOD, and the chairman of NRM described the action of NRM as unchristian in how they handle the rest of the political parties. This bill will undermine everything we have tried to work for, and therefore I am laying on table this letter written on 2nd April 2025 addressing the subject matter of Section 14A, which has never been implemented. In this, it has never been. Allow me to speak. I am here on my last term. I am not coming back to this parliament. Allow me to express myself for the future of Uganda. We are not going to tolerate this nonsense and backbiting and undermining the whole principles of democracy. We have put ourselves on the line. I said before anybody, I'm ready to go to State House just for a cup of tea. I cannot, no, Madam Speaker, this, what we...
First calm down. First calm down.
When my country is going into a mess, we're going into an election, we're undermining the election, I will not be calm.
First calm down. Calm down. You lay your document.
I'm requesting, and this is on record clearly, Article 14A, I mean Section 14A of the Political Parties and Organization Act, the president of NRM describes the actions of NRM as unchristian. What we're doing now, as I said yesterday, is diabolical. We're undermining deliberately. Because out of nowhere, suddenly a bill comes, it is cleared, and this affects the very Section 14A. I am on record here, this is something which I am not going to sit down and let it pass unchallenged. What you're doing is wrong. I'm telling you, what you're doing is wrong. And history will judge you correctly. I lay this letter on table because it touched on the subject matter, it touched on the timetable which we're in. Because even if this bill is now passed, how is it going to be implemented when the budget is already in place?
Thank you.
Please let us be honest with ourselves. Let us be honest with the country. This kind of undermining democracy will not be accepted in the Republic of Uganda.
Thank you.
Madam Speaker, thank you.
Honorable members in the VIP gallery this afternoon, we have a delegation of leaders from Bukedea District Local Government. They are represented by Ms. Akol Mary, the Bukedea District Chairperson. Welcome. Join me in welcoming my voters. Before you start, we have Mr. Emong Showan Ouma, Bukedea District Speaker. Most welcome, Speaker. Then we have Mr. Takan Alex, the District Local Government staff. They are represented by Honorable Ikojo, John Bosco, Honorable Poloti Shagi, Chairman Budget, and Honorable Triple A. Thank you. Welcome so much. Next item.
Thank you very much for indulging. Madam Speaker, Honorable Jimmy has raised an important thing.
Honorable Nathan.
No, Madam, just for simplicity.
Nathan, first sit. Next item.
Item 4 on the order paper. Statement by the Minister on the state of road infrastructure and the rampant road accidents registered in the recent past.
While you are away, Honorable Mpuga, the bill was laid on table. You've just come.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker, for your kind indulgence. While I was relaxing to catch the next breath because we've just left the Committee of Legal and Defence, we are processing another fast-track bill. I saw my brother, the Honourable Jonathan, raising a matter that was not resolved by your guidance. He sought your guidance as to how the other matters related to the bill will be handled now that the bill has been tabled without an input. For instance, yesterday you gave good guidance. Did that guidance constitute...
I've not changed it.
Yes, I wanted clarity that probably to solve his problem. Did that guidance constitute leave?
I have not changed my guidance. I said take all what you have on the political parties to the committee. That's what I said. I've not withdrawn it.
Honourable Speaker,
Attorney General, Honourable Matthias has an issue on political parties.
Right Honourable, I received the document yesterday afternoon, and I am looking at it, and as I'm waiting for this bill to understand how they are related.
Right, Honourable Speaker, I mean, what he said is very instructive. Because a bill has been tabled, it has a memorandum with the clear objectives. An input to the same bill will disfigure the original bill. I do not know how that will be accommodated. Right, Honourable Speaker, would it be proper, again, if you allowed me to lay my own bill before Parliament, so that the House finds decent accommodation for it, and therefore assess on its own merit? Would that be...
No problem at all, even if you brought it tomorrow.
No, I'm actually ready.
Bring it. Next item.
No, I'm ready.
No, you bring it. Let's move as you bring. Let me have a look at it. Receive the report, and then we will allow him to apply for leave.
Right Honourable Speaker, yesterday this Parliament instructed me to come up with a statement.
Yes. Yes.
While I sympathize with my brother, the Honourable Mpuga, who has had the benefit of doing law, I am constrained. I have to raise this point of procedure. There cannot be a bill just thrown on the table. The procedural issue I am raising, Madam Speaker, is whether if you will not alter the order paper, we can move a motion for first reading, since government works these days like a robot. We can get finance to send us a certificate of financial application like they did with Honourable Nakut, and have a bill properly introduced. Otherwise,
Honourable Nakut thought for leave yesterday.
And that's why I'm thanking
and
them.
We are saying Honourable Mpuga seek for leave, and then the processes go on. You will ask for a certificate. Clerk has right asking for certificate.
Madam Speaker, and I thank you, because the one of Honourable Nakut, we left here at 6. I don't know whether she's left at finance.
Honourable.
So I am on the plea. You allow Honourable Mpuga also to sleep at finance, and he gets it.
I don't determine where people sleep. Honourable Ichwero.
Right Honourable Speaker, this Honourable House yesterday instructed me to come up with a statement of our national roads and the accidents that have continued to claim lives. And I beg to proceed as follows. Right Honorable Speaker, this is the statement of the state of our national roads, the increasing number of accidents across the country, and the available funding for them in 2025-2026 budget. And I want to, on the onset, Right Honorable Speaker, to say that as I give this report, I'm also aware at the stage at which we are in our budget process. I hope it is uploaded. Right Honorable Speaker, let me start by addressing the tragic accidents that have occurred on the road network this month, including the bus accident, to identify the causes properly and the acts of the accidents and prevent this preventable loss of lives on our roads in the future. Right Honorable Speaker, on the state of the national roads in the country, there is indeed a cause for concern. As of financial year 2024-2025, 1,880 kilometers of paved roads require periodic maintenance, while 615 kilometers have already deteriorated to the level of requiring full rehabilitation. This backlog is a result of consistent underfunding for maintenance activities over the years. Honorable members, the National Roads Development Program faces a severe funding deficit in the financial year 2025-2026. The current budgetary allocations, Right Honorable Speaker, are far below the resources required for the timely completion of critical road development, rehabilitation, and maintenance projects. The consequences of this deficit will affect government programs. This statement gives an overview of the status of funding, including the potential impact of not allocating the necessary resources. Let me start by the status of funding for national roads, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, in the financial year 25-26, the total budget allocated to national roads is Uganda shillings 682 billion, against a total requirement of 3.15 trillion, resulting in a funding gap of 2.472 trillion. Annex 1 that I have provided here shows the detailed breakdown of the required funds. The Uganda shillings 3.15 trillion is required to cover, Right Honorable Speaker, one, domestic areas of 1 trillion, which continues to accrue interest daily. Two, land acquisition for both ongoing and new road development projects, including projects that are externally financed. Three, urgent maintenance, rehabilitation, reconstruction, and upgrading of key road links across the country. And four, bridge and ferry development projects, including emergency works on bridges affected by adverse weather in the last 2 years. Honorable members, there has been a reducing budgetary allocation to the development and maintenance of roads over the last 3 years, as compared to the funding envelope required to implement the roads program in the third National Development Plan. Allocations have sharply fallen from 90% of the expected allocation of 2022-2023 to only 20% in 2025-2026. A summary of the allocation per financial year is shown in what I've described as Annex 2 here. This reduction in budgetary allocation is the main cause of increasing domestic arrears. Unless there is an urgent intervention that I beg Parliament together with us, the domestic arrears could further escalate, and the next financial years will have adverse impacts. Honorable colleagues, Right Honorable Speaker, my ministry has prepared a work plan in line with the planned transport infrastructure interventions required in NDP 4 and the spillovers from NDP 3. However, due to the large funding gap, it will be impossible to undertake the activities in the work plan with the potential catastrophic effects on the state of roads across the country. Honorable members, in line with the shortfall, the Minister of Works and Transport has made allocations prioritizing payments of arrears and acquisition of land for ongoing works. Most of the ongoing projects have not received sufficient funding to cover the planned scope of work. For example, Mitiana Mubende. Right Honorable Speaker and colleagues, Mitiana Mubende requires an allocation of 130 billion and was only allocated 21 billion. Kampala Jinja requires 90 billion and was only allocated 7 billion. Mbarare Shaka was not allocated any resource despite being in very bad shape. The allocation projects are located in Annex 3. If no extra funds are allocated, Madam Speaker, the result will be an increase in the domestic areas, including interest in the unpaid sums. Impact of the funding gap. Right Honorable Speaker and colleagues, the funding gap I have described will negatively impact the ministry's ability to undertake land acquisition, complete ongoing projects, carry out urgently required maintenance works on the network, and commence strategic projects like Bobby Corner, from Bobby to Corner a year, to support our expected AFCON 2027. These budget shortfalls will also affect the implementation of externally funded projects, as resources are required for counterpart funding and land acquisition for the projects. Honorable members, if the extra allocation is not made now, the government of Uganda will have to pay more in the long run due to the following factors. One, interest on delayed payments will increase. The estimated interest in financial year 25-26 due to delayed payments is approximately 48 billion. In cases where contractors demobilize, when work resumes, it will include extra scope of work to cover the damage done in the structure when the contractor was not on the site. You may have seen this in Uganda. Contractors claim for demobilization and also reputational damage to the country, which will cause contractors to increase their future bid process to cater for the risk of non-payment, and delayed utilization of external finances, which results in increased financing costs for the loans, and increased accidents in the abandoned sites and across the road network where interventions are required. In addition to the direct costs mentioned above, Right Honorable Speaker, there is a larger risk of losing the value of the road assets that the government of Uganda has invested in over the last 15 years. The total paved network currently stands at 6,306 kilometers as of 2024-2025. This paved network is increasingly at risk of deterioration due to underinvestment in timely maintenance. As a result of the underfunding, already 615 kilometers of the paved network have deteriorated beyond maintenance levels and will require expensive interventions in form of rehabilitation or in some cases full reconstruction. Honorable members, it is much cheaper to undertake periodic maintenance interventions like resealing and local repairs compared to the full rehabilitation that is usually required when a road is neglected. The cost of the periodic maintenance ranges from Uganda shillings 646 million to Uganda shillings 1.14 billion per kilometer, while the cost of rehabilitation range from 2.28 billion to 2.66 billion per kilometer. The periodic maintenance activities renew the life of the road. A good example is the Kampala Northern Bypass, where the periodic maintenance currently being implemented will give the road a new lease of life and at reasonable cost as compared to waiting until the road requires full rehabilitation later on down the road. If no periodic maintenance activities are done on the national road network in financial year 25-26, projections indicate that in addition to 500 kilometers of paved roads currently in fair condition, will degrade to the point of requiring full rehabilitation. This loss in asset value, Right Honorable Speaker, on pavement has been estimated at around 1.007 trillion over that financial year, that's 25-26. My prayer, Right Honorable Speaker, that together the challenges I have described require urgent intervention to mitigate the adverse effects of the current funding shortfalls. I propose the following strategy to help mitigate this, and we have shared this with the different committees. One, provide additional resources to enable contractors on the ongoing projects such as Mitiana Mubende, Kampala Jinja, Karuma Pakwach, Najanankumbi Busabala, Kira Matuga, Tororo Busia, to complete them on schedule. Two, providing funds for land acquisition and counterpart funding for ongoing externally financed projects to ensure the external resources are not left lying idle, e.g. Rwenkunyu Apach, Lira Puranga, Muyembe na Kapiripirit, Kirhora Kamwenge na Magomba Budadiri, just to mention but a few. Then provide funds for key maintenance projects such as Mbarara and Shaka, Nebia Roa, Mubende Chenjojo, etc., and emergency bridges repairs. Three, provide funds for payment of outstanding areas to reduce the accumulation of interest and maintain the service provider's confidence in the government's commitment to pay for works done. Prioritizing of funding for maintenance and ensuring funds are released in a predictable manner to enable proper planning for maintenance activities. Assurances, Right Honorable. Right Honorable Speaker, the Minister of Works and Transport commits to conduct road safety inspections at all work zones to ensure that adequate warnings in form of signages and other safety devices are installed. The Minister also continues to conduct inspections of black spots across the road network, so to install mitigation measures to ensure that the safety of our road users is guaranteed. Right Honorable Speaker, I would like to assure you and all the honorable members that the Minister of Works and Transport is committed to utilizing the allocated resources in the most effective manner possible to enable us be safe on our roads and the transportation of our infrastructure services. I beg to submit, Right Honorable.
Thank you, Honorable Minister. Honorable Minister, we are aware that you don't have the money, as you have said. But then the other issue that we are talking about, much as you may not have the money, how come that you put the road barriers on the road without giving the signs of the road barriers? And that's one of the causes of the accident. Two, you've not been able to tell us how much your unpaid interim payment certificates are. You're talking about money, money, money. How much are we talking about? How much are we talking about? Three, you also needed to tell us about the UNRWA uncompleted projects after RAPEX. Which one have you completed? At what stage is the other? What is the position? What is the stage of those uncompleted projects? Then lastly, after the removal or after going away of UNRWA, who is taking responsibility to supervise? Because we are seeing like there is nobody responsible for any supervision. You could first respond to that, then members come in. I will give members 20 minutes. No, let him respond. It will form what the shadow will.
Honorable Speaker, Right Honorable Speaker, when this Honorable House directed me yesterday to come up with this report, I had wanted to request Parliament to allow me particularly about a week to speak about the resources that we have received and how we have broken it down, because my expectation was that by next week, most of the contractors that are receiving the money, particularly given by this house on supplementary, will be back on the road. So I wanted to speak when the contractors are on the road. But because of the urgency, I thought I could give you just an overview of the challenges that the ministry is facing, again also on the understanding that we are in the budgeting process so that members can understand. But right now, I can also say with a lot of certainty that because of the investigation that is going on, we wouldn't want even to specifically speak about some of the specific accidents that have unfortunately bedeviled the country in the last few days. But the reality is that we are being there is some investigation.
Much as there is an investigation, we are asking who is putting those barriers on the road. Now that you're saying the contractors have abandoned the roads, so who is putting those barriers on the roads?
Right, Noble, all the areas, that's why I captured in that we are going to enforce, particularly the professional responsibility of the contractors, is to make sure that the signages that they put to indicate that their work is ongoing are properly visible. That is something that we are working on. So we don't want even to say, maybe this went wrong, because we may be jeopardizing what is likely to come out. So that one we are undertaking as a ministry to make sure that we follow that very carefully. We will communicate to this house that who is taking responsibility. Katumba and myself, General Katumba, we are taking full responsibility. We are taking full responsibility of the supervision of the ministry. And you can imagine,
Honorable Chero, you need to convince this house that Minister of Works, I don't want to mention the names, that Minister of Works is doing its work. And as I said yesterday, you're going to make this house regret why they rationalize UNRWA. Shadow. Let's hear from the shadow first.
Thank you so much, Honourable Speaker. Honourable Speaker, the earning 7% from the 7% from the 4,000 of 2023 to 5,000 of 2024. This is very alarming, right, Honourable Speaker. Right, Honourable Speaker, in 2023, the Speaker convened a meeting of UNRWA, Ministry of Works, the police, the leader of opposition, Minister of Health, the chairperson Committee on Physical Infrastructure, and the Shadow Minister for Works and Transport. And resolutions were made. They were adopted by this House. The Minister of Works pledged to implement those resolutions. Right, Honourable Speaker, those resolutions have never been implemented in respect to the accidents. To Right, Honourable Speaker, even before I go to the second one, the Minister should update us on those resolutions, how they were implemented, if they were implemented. But secondly, Right, Honourable Speaker, the Minister is lamenting. He convinced us here, together with the Minister for Public Service, that whatever they were doing in rationalization was in the best interest of this country, and that they were promoting effectiveness in the ministry. At least UNRWA was managing the debt. Now, you are failing to even manage the debt. Where we come from, through Shema district, Mbara district to Buweju, the road is impassable. It's a national road. Now, you say to Bushenyi, you have no money, so you will not be moving from Mbarara to Bushenyi. And you are lamenting. Finally, Right, Honourable Speaker, the areas, the high cost of financing the foreign companies. Why don't we support the local companies? Why? Why don't we support the local companies? Because all these companies you're talking about and the areas amounting to almost 1.581 trillion. Most of this is foreign companies. I don't know your relationship with them. But why don't we support the local companies? Maybe the money wouldn't be going to this figure because it is high because of them being foreign companies.
Thank you. Thank
Honourable Speaker, most roads are impassable and we cannot wait.
Honorable Minister, it is very unfortunate you didn't respond to what I was asking you. I was being very specific. For instance, where there was an accident that we talked about yesterday, what have you done? The road barriers are still there. There are no signs to show that there is a road barrier here. Why do you want so many other people to continue dying? It is simple. You don't need money to put a road sign.
Right, Honourable Speaker, I just
I am
forgot
talking to the minister.
Right, Honourable Speaker, work is resuming on the road in the next few days.
So between the few days and now, if somebody again gets an accident there, I am asking, what does it cost the ministry to put a sign that there is works here and there are road curbs in this place?
We undertake to do what is necessary.
Yes,
Right, Honourable Speaker.
Honourable Katesh.
Right, Honourable Speaker.
Honourable Katesh.
Right, Honourable Speaker. I am glad the Minister is here, but also the Minister of Public Service, Honourable Mururu Mukasa, who defended rationalization here. And the promise was that we are going to be more efficient and better. We gave you UNRA. Right, Honourable Speaker. UNRA had, for example, a department, I think a unit for road safety. You have not activated it in the ministry. You are talking about money. We want to know the issue of continuity. When you took over UNRA, for example, the Maram roads across the country, they are not big. They have been abandoned. Even the little money that you took, we want you to tell us, what have you done? And where is the efficiency that was promised? Sometimes you pass through the roads and you wonder whether there is anyone in charge. If you look at the barriers, when you are going to the airport, through the express, the traffic jam has increased. And even, Honourable Minister, some of your contracts, you expect that the contractor should make sure that there is continuity of the road. But if you look at the works that are going on, some of the contractors appear unsupervised, and this is a challenge for you. You need to assure this House that we did not make a mistake. By giving you UNRA, we want you to assure us how better you have become since we gave you UNRA. And how much have you saved and how much more you are doing.
Honourable Minister, what is even more disturbing, when we go to the constituencies, to the villages, and you're asking at the LOC5, my LOC5 is there, why is this road not worked on? They will say that is a UNRA road. Is UNRA still alive? Is UNRA still alive? Why haven't you communicated to the districts on what to do? Everybody is waiting, this is a UNRA road, UNRA road. So do you still have UNRA in place? Let you first answer.
Right, Honourable Speaker and Honourable colleagues, there is no more UNRA, there is only Department of National Roads in the Ministry of Works and Transport. The reality is that it is also true. I am sure colleagues have followed very carefully my statement. We had a big outstanding arrears. Which arrears?
How much? That's what I've asked you. Let's not do lamentations.
How
much?
Unless I reread the whole report, Mama.
No.
But I can tell you with certainty that there was an arrears. This house was kind to give us a supplementary, and the supplementary has reached the local contractors and just this week. And that's why I had requested this house, by next week when the contractors are on the road, it will be very important for us to come and brief this house and say, we have done this with the resources that you have given us. This is the outstanding resource that is waiting. That's what is going to happen.
Yes, clarification from Patrick.
Thank you.
Then Dan.
Thank you very much, Right Honourable. Right Honourable Speaker, we want the Minister to be kind to us. There were Duka roads that were managed by UNRA. They are national roads in nature. And those are the roads that concern us mainly as who are coming from rural areas. Now, when you're coming here and you're talking about them generally, you do not help us. And the Speaker's question is what is on the ground. Those roads are not catered for by the districts because previously they were managed by UNRA. Now they are in their state. I can tell you the road from Kasanda up to Chiyuya has become so impassable. That road was being maintained by a framework contract. Now I want to ask you, to get a clarification from you. When you go to UNRA, you stopped all framework contracts? You stopped all of them? The other clarification, what is the state now? Who is responsible for those roads that we previously called UNRA roads? Come out clear and tell us. There are these big roads which are national in nature, we know, but there are also those roads which used to get financing from road fund, which road fund was also closed here. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Right Honourable Speaker and honourable colleagues, I have listened through the Minister, and of course we interact with them, with the Minister of Works, very often. Right Honourable Speaker, if what you read is what the Minister was supposed to report about, then he set his own question. You wanted a report on the status of roads in Uganda. What the Minister gave you is the status of big projects. Right Honourable Speaker and honourable colleagues, the biggest part of our roads is Maram. The normal roads that our people use on a daily. And those roads are supposed to be currently maintained by Minister of Works. Right Honourable Speaker, even the accidents we are talking about that are reported and get our attention don't form 20% of the accidents that happen on those Maram roads. Right Honourable Speaker, it is my considered opinion that the Minister goes back and brings a report. This does not form 25% of the road status in Uganda, Right Honourable Speaker. It's very important, Right Honourable Speaker, too, that Ministry of Works, I understand there are constraints of finances and the rest, but it's very important that they come out to the country and declare these constraints if they are indeed there, like they are. Instead of leaving the country in a demanding, continuous demand. He has not talked about bridges.
Even the ferries.
Even the ferries. But this one, at least it was roads. So, Right Honourable Speaker, it's my view that the Minister goes back and answers the question, because he has set his own question now. And then, okay, I'm coming. And then gives you, or gives this Parliament, a roadmap as to how they are going to handle the Maram roads, as to how they want to respond to those big projects he's talking about. But as it is now, really it is just making a cosmetic of an ugly person trying to make them beautiful. But still, when the cosmetic goes away, the person will remain ugly. So, Honourable Minister.
Honourable Minister.
Through you.
One, you need to tell us on the action taken on the errant contractors. and government supervisory personnel that have taken the issue of safety in their hands. That is one thing you need. I have talked about the barriers, and there are no signs anywhere. All over. Not only in Busabala or whichever. All over. And then we need to look at the progress in ensuring that continuity and timely completion of the projects that were started by UNRWA. We transferred the money of UNRWA to you. What are you doing with our money? And then we also need to look at the roads at the district level. Who is responsible? What plan do you have? Where is the road map? Have you communicated to the districts on what should be done on those roads? Because these roads are unpassable. Like what Patrick said, more accidents are on those roads more than even the main roads here. And then the other thing is on the interim certificates. How much? We are talking about budgets. How much are we talking about? You only bring a report that is lamenting there is no money, how much money we're in budgeting, so we will not understand it. You have something to add? You have something? No, we are telling him what to bring. What should be in the report?
Maybe come.
Madam Speaker.
Okay.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I wanted to ask the Minister, there is information going out in the public. It concerns safety on the road, but there are concerns from the public, the new express penalty scheme. And one of the provisions we are being told is that if you don't pay within 6 months, 3 or 6 months, your vehicles can be auctioned. And yet in that system, someone else can be driving my car and I am not aware, but then I will lose the ownership of the car. So would the Minister also come and officially brief Parliament on that proposal that is being made so that we can explain to our people better, and then
on the penalties, people should also pay.
Thank you. Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker. Right Honourable Speaker, I want to thank you very much for giving time to this very important subject
We are
matter.
not debating, Sarah.
I'm not debating. I'm giving an issue that he needs to take up also. Right Honourable Speaker, we have discussed the issue of road safety in this House. And unfortunately, when somebody dies, that's when we pay attention. And then afterwards, we forget. Right Honourable Speaker, as we speak now, there is a conference going on road safety in Munyonyo. But Right Honourable Speaker, the issue that I wanted to put across, road maintenance is a key factor in road safety. And for as long as we do not dedicate adequate funds to road maintenance, Right Honourable Speaker, we will continue losing people. So Right Honourable Speaker, the issue that I wanted to put across, we have discussed the motion on road fund, Right Honourable Speaker. We have a law in place where all these levies, fuel levies, the transit fees, and all monies are supposed to be collected.
Sarah, can we first ask the Minister what to bring for us in the statement? I know where you're driving us to.
So,
Honourable Minister, go back with your report, bring a comprehensive report, capturing all the things that we've asked you.
Maybe just before the Minister, because this is part of... I want to assist the Minister a bit, Right Honourable Speaker. We took trouble to extract the resolutions of the meeting on road safety, and we passed them here on 13th July 2023. This is a copy of the Hansard. Read through these resolutions. Maybe as you respond to each one, your response will be buttressed a bit more, because as we are saying, you are touching this, touching the other, and not the critical issues. This here, which I am laying, I hope it will get to the Minister, the resolutions captured here will help so that you can respond succinctly. Because, Honourable Speaker, the Minister seems to be non-committal. For example, on the road signage and all of that, you have said you're going to do what's necessary. I don't know what that means, because between now and tomorrow, somebody else might get a challenge. Yeah? And also the other issue that members are raising, when you are going to fix a road, sometimes you'll dig up and then leave all those potholes which keep broadening. Even on some of the national roads, cars hit those and then accidents occur. Can we get some commitment? And finally, Right Honorable Speaker, some of the local contractors complain that government takes donkey's years to pay them, and so they get stuck. Right Honorable Speaker, as we speak today, the total payables that government does have, money that government owes to local contractors, people that provide services, goods, and so on and so forth to government, is 10 trillion shillings. By the way, as we have had exchanges with the Minister of Finance, Finance does not capture that as part of our debt. Even though on our end we have said, once somebody provides a good or a service, when you don't pay them, it is a debt. But Finance, because of the other debt to GDP ratio issue, they don't want it to be so very high. So they say, no, these local payables, they will not be part of our debt. It is part of our debt. But Honorable Minister, many of these local contractors say they have abandoned sites because you're not paying them. What's happening with that?
Honorable Minister, we need a report, and the report should be here on Tuesday.
Right, Robert, I wanted to beg that you give me a week.
No.
Why?
Tuesday.
Because, like I said,
Tuesday.
I wanted to beg.
Members are supposed to go for recess. So can we have the report on Tuesday? Next item.
I will have to comply.
Item 5 on the order paper.
Honorable members, yesterday we stood over the Tax Procedure Code Amendment Bill. Hey, you ready? Okay, you're going to come. We stood over the Tax Procedure Code Amendment Bill 2025, and we asked the chairperson plus the the minority presenters plus the minister to go and harmonize. Can we have a report from the chairperson?
Bill of double the tax, which was trying to address the unfairness that was on the taxpayer. And the minority report was saying, instead of saying a taxpayer who was supposed to pay 100 million and did not pay, when you double it becomes 200, we should cap the penalty. But we resolved, Right Honorable Speaker, and I'm glad to report that we said we should leave it as it is in the bill and as reported by the committee, that double the tax. On the other matter of the NIN, we also resolved that capturing the NIN does not mean that you have to make a tax return, because there is a provision in the law that talks about the tax registration. So we are in tandem with the minority report. The other issue, Right Honorable Speaker, under the Tax Procedures Code was about the waiver, amendment of the TPC to cater for waiver of interest and penalty, where a member was proposing that we should look at how we can clean the ledgers, and that, along with the guidance of the Attorney General, we have come to a position which I will request the Honorable Nanda Mafabi to read. And the final aspect, Right Honorable Speaker and colleagues, was about the centralized payment gateway system, where members are requested to address. And we had proposed in the committee that we allow a year, and that is a matter for discussion. Thank you.
Thank you. Nathan?
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. We looked at the tax. We had a very good computation, and the Attorney General did some math. It says up to 30th June 2014, and this tax must be paid, that's 2024, then this tax must be paid by 30th June 2026. The argument which came in, it said, one, we're coming to the end of the financial year, which is 30th June 2025. If somebody will go to URI and say, I have been given a whole year, so I don't need to pay money now until after 1 year. So it will be depriving government tax or income which some has accrued. So it was agreed that if you have the money from 1st July and we have not paid of 2025, interest will accrue on that one. What you pay is what will remain the balance, and that will be interest. That means all the money outstanding on 30th June 2025, if you don't pay it by then, it will be accruing interest. And this one, when you're going to pay whatever time you pay, it will have the money you're paying plus interest. Meanwhile, the one which has gone up to now, whenever you pay, a portion is written off. Let me give you what it's meaning. Up to June 2024, from there 1st July 2024 to June 30th June 2025 is a 1 year. There will be an additional interest which has accrued up to that time. Now it was agreed that the one which will be applying apportionment will be that additional from...
Honorable Musa, there is something somebody wants to raise, so wait for.
Chair, the additional which was accruing from 1st July 2024 to 30th June 2025 will be the one which will be apportioned according to when you are paying. Meanwhile, the one from 1st July 2025 will be full because you have not paid your tax. That's for a purpose of keeping taxpayers' money. Other government money. Then the other one was about ledgers. And again, the Attorney General guided that URA, if it has been charging interest and the principal, and when a taxpayer pays money, and they apply the money before, on the interest and the penalty, before the principal, then that one was done in not right. What should be done is that all the taxpayers, the money they have paid, should be first be applied to the principal. So that means the call is for URA to clean their ledgers. That all the money the taxpayers have been paying should be applied to the principal to determine what is the outstanding, what would be the outstanding interest and the principal as by 30th June 2024. So now this is the formulation. I don't know, Anthony, am I right? Thank you.
So can we now move to committee stage?
Yeah, then we shall bring the amendments.
Yes.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Before we move to the committee stage, my minority report has not been considered. We did a reconciliation, but the position the chair has put is not what we agreed on the issue of centralized payment gateway system.
Yes.
My argument was that government does not have a centralized payment system. That's number one. If we pass the bill as it is, we are actually debating in anticipation. That's number one. Number two, Madam Speaker, government, if we pass the bill, I mean the clause the way it is, it means that...
Which clause are we talking about?
We are looking at clause 95, clause 5, which intends to insert section 93A, immediately after 93. Because the insertion requires that operators of casino, gaming and betting activities to conduct all transactions, both for receiving wagers and making payouts exclusively through a centralized payment gateway system licensed by Bank of Uganda. And clause 2 also says that the bill further seeks to introduce section 93B, which stipulates that an operator of a casino, a gaming or betting activity who fails to use or integrate with the gaming and betting centralized system be penalized. Madam Speaker, my point of departure was that they do not have the system. That's number one. By trying to pass the clause the way it is, they are trying to create a monopoly. They are trying to get a service that is being provided by 45 licensed companies by Bank of Uganda and taking that responsibility to a single company. Because they are taking it to a single company because they do not have the system themselves. So my prayer is that we leave the clause the way it is, because that one does not change the intention of the clause, but we remove the word centralized. And then we move the word system to systems, because there's 45 systems in place and they want to centralize it to one, implying that they are trying to create a monopoly for one company. So my prayer to the House is that we remove the word centralized. That one does not change the intention of the clause. Thank you so much, Madam Speaker.
Eji.
Right Honorable Speaker, I think the member understood what government is trying to do. Correct. Government is looking for a single centralized system. That is correct. Now, we cannot distribute tax collection to 45 people. That's the problem. Because the 45 systems are in place now, but tax is being lost. So now government is saying, link it with one system, authorized under the national payment system, and linked to URA. Now, let me finish. What the entity does in its back end is their private business. But when they're interacting with government, they'll go through that same pathway. So, that is exactly what government is trying to do.
Government, thank you so much, the Right Honourable Attorney General. Government can achieve what it wants to achieve without centralizing. You can link the URA system to all the 45 systems. You can integrate. Listen, you can integrate.
There's a procedure matter.
My understanding, Madam Speaker, is that a minority report has been presented.
We go to committee.
Because you cannot present a minority report and debate it. The procedure issue I am raising now is whether this strange way of dealing with this particular law is going to continue, that you present a minority report but also debate it yourself.
Honourable members, I put a question that the Tax Procedure Code Amendment Bill 2025 be read for the second time.
Right Honourable Speaker, I have
those in favour sign the contrary nay. The ayes have it.
The Tax Procedures Code Amendment Bill 2025, Bills Committee stage.
Honourable Speaker. Not fair. It's not bring. Right.
You will not talk until I give you. You wait and I give you to speak. What is the issue that you're raising?
Right Honourable Speaker.
Honourable members.
I don't want to go.
Honourable members, when we come to the House, let's keep our heads cool. Because at the end of the day, we are legislating for millions of people out there. And that's why I want you to be calm. The microphone can only be on when you come. You legislate, you bring your ideas, whether take it or reject. So you can now present if you have called it down.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, I'm concerned by the way Comrade was gagged. The Honorable was gagged. It's actually not fair, because he did not actually present fully his minority report for us to debate it. What he's talking about, Right Honorable Speaker, is Africa is walking itself into colonialism. Companies are coming from outside in the name of digitization of tax collection and management to loot this country dry. And I can give examples, Right Honorable Speaker. We have a company called Riponami. It is important that our countrymen understand what Africa is going to be duped into. Riponami is making money in the name of streamlining rental income tax and walking away with the proportion of our taxpayers' money. Right, Honorable Speaker, that is why I wanted this debate at committee stage.
You're raising a policy matter on digitization. That is the matter you're raising. What you do, let's look at a clause, bring your argument on the clause, we discuss it, and we get a middle ground.
Amazing. That's why I wanted to tell you that the right time for me to have debated this was at that stage, whereby members would have arrived at this stage well knowing what happens to where Africa is being put, that cartels are running into digital payment systems, whereby people are becoming their own slaves, meaning for every payment that you're making. Recently, an agreement has been signed between this government and people from the Middle East, UAE, that they are creating a single payment gateway for taxes. We are becoming slaves in this country.
Honorable Mehdi, I want you to help this House. Look at the object of this bill. But if you have a law that you want to bring on that, it's a very good law. Please bring it and we shall pass it this House.
Most obliged, Right Honorable Speaker. However, I remain with these reservations because our role is to enlighten our members that might not know what we are being duped into and passing as an august House.
Right Honorable, I want to see how we come to the same place now that we're talking about centralized systems, centralizing things. Honorable Enos is concerned about monopolizing this entire process, that you're going to have one person. That means you knock out 45 who are licensed, who are operating, they've got employees and so on. The Attorney General is saying that no, the issue here is about tax collection. Now, we need to be sure we are understanding each other and that no one is confusing the other. Because the Attorney General, for him, is
Honorable Law, for us to understand each other, let's look at the object of the matter, of the law. An act to amend the Tax Procedure Code, Cap 343, to provide for the use of the National Identification Number and the registration number as the tax identification numbers. 2, to provide for the gaming and betting centralized payment gateway system. 3, to provide for the penal tax for the failure to use or integrate with the gaming and betting centralized payment gateway system and for related matters. There is nothing like digitization. We are having a centralized payment system that is authorized by the central bank, where we are saying, okay, if you've gone for betting, instead of you asking for your cash at counter, you must go through a payment system to be paid. Can we continue?
Clause 1.
I put a question that clause 1 stands part of the bill. Those in favor say and the contrary nay. The ayes have it.
Clause 2.
I put a question that clause 2 stands part of the bill. Those in favor say and the contrary nay. The ayes have it.
Clause 3.
I put a question at clause 3.
Madam Chair and honorable members, clause 3 be amended as follows. Roman 1, 47, waiver of interest and Roman 1, the principal tax outstanding at 30th June 2024 will be the total principal less the tax already paid. 2, the interest and the penalties up to 30th June 2024 are waived. 3, the interest which has accumulated from 1st July 2024
Let's agree on the text.
Yeah, we shall do the text. Yeah, because this is what we discussed.
AG help in drafting.
Yeah, okay, let me just make this so then we can conclude the drafting. The principal tax outstanding at 30th June 2024 will be the total principal less the tax already paid. 2, the interest and the penalties up to 30th June 2024 are waived.
That is the same as 1.
Yeah, no, that is the principle. No, now the one which we are going for apportionment. 3, the interest which has accumulated from 1st July 2024, because that was not covered by the waiver. 1st July 2024 to 30th June 2025 will be waived on pro basis as the taxpayer, as the taxpayer pays the taxes by 2026. Of course, the justification for that is that they divide it, whatever. 4, the interest from 1st July 2025 will be charged on all the outstanding tax until paid, because this one is not the one covered by the bill for waiver. And I find that I think this was a recommendation that URA should reconcile the ledgers, but we never gave it a time frame.
That can be in the law.
Yeah, so we can say URA should reconcile the tax ledgers. We can say within 30 days.
No, the minister will instruct URA. Redraft.
Thank you very much, Right Honourable Speaker. Right Honourable Chair, I think Honourable Nandala has really put together the principles as were agreed, and we are on the same page. Now for the drafting, we wanted to propose that we leave clause 3.1 as it is, clause 3.2 as it is, and add clause 3.3 to read as follows. For avoidance of doubt, subsection 1 and 2 shall apply to the interest that accrues on the principal tax from 1st July 2024 to the date the taxpayer pays the principal. Meaning that if the taxpayer starts paying the principal amount in, say, August of 2025, that taxpayer has until August 2026 to pay off the debt. If by July 2026, if he has paid off the debt, but there was interest that had accrued, it will also be waived in accordance with 1 and 2 above. Beg to submit.
Thank you very much. I think since you have brought avoidance of doubt, now let me also add, for avoidance of doubt, the principal tax outstanding as at 30th June 2024 is the total principal less the tax amount paid. Because we want the real on the same page.
Yes, Katesh.
I think that I get where you are going, but when we talk of outstanding principal tax, it's expected that you would have less stuff. So my view is that the framing, the way the Attorney General has framed it, deals with the period we were discussing in our caucusing, but also by leaving the clauses they are, the way they are, caters for the backward period. So I would like us to say that we should go with the amendment that he has captured, that he has proposed, because it caters for the issues that we are worried about.
Nathan, it captures what you wanted to be captured.
Fine, no, but since we have all agreed on the answer.
Minister.
The other point, Madam Chair, the other point, which now, since we have covered, is the ledgers. We had said we can put it in the law. Do we propose a period for...
No, that one doesn't come in the law. Yes, Honorable Chair, are you in agreement with the Attorney General's?
Yes, I'm in agreement.
Minister?
I was part of the meeting.
Do you agree?
So, collective responsibility.
Honorable Musasisi, do you agree?
I do.
I put a question that clause 3 be amended as proposed by by Honorable Nandala and amended by Honorable Attorney General. Those in favor say and the contrary nay. The ayes have it.
Clause 3 as amended.
I put a question that clause 3 as amended stands part of the bill. Those in favor say and the contrary nay. The ayes have it.
Clause 4.
I put a question that clause 4 stands part of the bill. Those in favor say and the contrary nay. The ayes have it.
Clause 5.
Clause 5. Clause 5. Let him first read his amendment, then you come in.
Right, Honorable Speaker, I will read the amendment proposed by the committee. Clause 5 is amended by inserting immediately after proposed section 93A, subsection 2, the following. An operator of a casino, gaming, or betting activity who is required to receive a wager or money staked and only make payouts through the gaming and betting centralized payment system, gateway system, referred to in under subsection 1 shall comply with subsection 1, wherein a period of 12 months from the date of commencement of this act. Justification: to give a transition period of 12 months to an operator of a casino, gaming, and betting activity who is not compliant with the proposed subsection 93A at the commencement of this act, to integrate the equipment to centralized payment system.
Medi?
Right Honorable Speaker, Madam Chair, I have a huge problem with creation of monopolies, mainly through payment systems. The new wave of multinationals coming to ignorant African countries and robbing them clean is through monopolization of their taxation mandatory payment systems. A case in point, Madam Chair, is how the URA came to us through the Ministry of Finance and stated that someone had presented blockchain technology and smart technology that will be used by a company that had not even been 5 years old, registered in Delaware, called Riponami, to help collect rental income tax. Ugandans were whipped. We came here and even made alterations to the rates of payment of rental income tax that increased. Without the company deploying any tool of technology, today it works out with a huge percentage of money. out of the taxpayers' contribution. Such bogus agreements, Right Honorable Speaker, have put this country at a loss of not only revenue, but also have killed innovation. The same is being introduced in this wave. Recently, the government, through an agreement signed with UAE investors, an agreement in the name of creation of a single payment gateway system for all payments made for government contribution and taxation. At the end of the day, these companies exactly know that if you collect billions of dollars and they take a percentage, even if it's $120 million, they'll have robbed you clean. These things we can do. Dear colleagues and comrades, your children can do this work exactly. Let the central bank and Ministry of Finance come and tell us that's two systems that they have not tendered out, that they are running directly. I challenge the minister is here. Tell me just two systems that you're running and you've not tendered out in form of payment systems. So what we are saying, Honorable Attorney General and Right Honorable Speaker, is that all those that have been paying are going through various payment platforms, some that are even owned by your children, meaning there is no monopoly. What the URA has to just do is to create an interface with them, and you'll see all the taxes. So why create one monopoly that you don't even talk about and legislate in anticipation that the Ministry of Finance intends that we give them an enabling law to create a tool where they create one centralized system. The centralized system, Right Honorable Speaker, is already there. Under the Act, anyone that is paying electronically must be approved by BOU. Therefore, what they intend to do is creation of another company. For avoidance of doubt, this will come to pass, that we are legislating in anticipation, and we'll be back to round one, and you'll exactly know that this was tendered out. And before you know, this is money being shared by government officials and multinationals.
Thank you. Karim?
Thank you, Right Honorable. Because the issue of contention here is the monopoly, creating one company. But the 45 companies that are existing right now are licensed by Bank of Uganda to operate and receive. They include MTN, Airtel, and other service providers. I think what we need to have on board is the assurance from the Attorney General that these players are not going to be eliminated, but they need to link. They need to link their systems to Bank of Uganda and URI, because the issue is about evading and not paying the taxes.
You.
That is what the Attorney General needs to bring out.
AG.
First of all, I want to confirm that the 45 players are not going to be eliminated. Let me listen. The payment system, for example, colleagues, under Section 5 of the National Payments Act, we have what we call the real-time gross settlement system. When you want to pay money, by RTGS, all the banks can use RTGS. So that is a payment system, but didn't close the other banks. You get what I mean? So even when you have this payment system, it doesn't stop the other players. But when you want to settle the payment through that system, that's the system you use. And it's a government system and has to be licensed by BOU. So the other 45 players or the 100 players are not going to be eliminated.
What about on the timing?
Right Honorable Chair, let me finish.
Honorable members, let's give time to each person.
Right Honorable Chair, the tax procedure codes are brought for purposes of collecting tax.
And for 1 year.
Now, if you tell us that this act should come next year, then we may as well just say we should not collect the tax this year. So it serves no purpose.
So it must be with immediate effect. It must be Medi. It is an integrated system. Medi, first seat. Okay, you come and sit here. Honorable members, I put a question that clause 5 be amended as proposed by Honorable.
Madam Chair, we propose that clause 5 stand as part of the bill.
I put a question that clause 5 stands part of the bill. Those in favor say on the contrary, nay. The ayes have it.
Title.
I put a question that the title stands part of the bill. Those in favor say on the contrary, nay. The ayes have it.
Motion for resumption of the House.
Honorable Minister.
Right Honorable Chair, I beg to move a motion that the House resumes and the committee of the whole House reports thereto.
I put a question that the House resumes and the committee of the whole House reports thereto. Those in favor say on the contrary, nay. The ayes have it.
Report of the Committee of the Whole House.
Honorable Minister.
Right Honorable Speaker, I beg to report that the Committee of the Whole House has considered the bill entitled the Tax Procedures Code Amendment Bill 2025 and passed it with amendments.
Motion for adoption of the report of the Committee of the Whole House.
Honorable Minister.
Madam Speaker, I beg to move that the report from the Committee of the Whole House be adopted.
I put a question that the report of the Committee of the Whole House be adopted by this House. Those in favor say on the contrary, nay. Ayes have it.
Bill's third reading, the Tax Procedures Code Amendment Bill 2025.
Honorable Minister.
Right Honorable Speaker, I beg to move that the bill entitled the Tax Procedures Code Amendment Bill 2025 be read for the third time and do pass.
I put a question that the Tax Procedure Code Amendment Bill 2025 be read a third time and do pass. Those in favor say on the contrary, nay. The ayes have it.
A bill for an act titled the Tax Procedures Code Amendment Act 2025.
Title settled and the bill passed.
Item 5.2, Bill second reading, the Income Tax Amendment Number 2 Bill 2025.
Honorable Minister.
Madam Speaker, I beg to move a motion that the Income Tax Amendment Bill Number 2, 2025 be read for the second time.
Seconded. Seconded by Isaac, by Amos, by Moses, Musa, Karamoja Fayaz, by the Prime Minister, by Omara, Lanyo, Nekesa, Kavanda, Margaret, Chut, Butaleja, Dr. Kamara, Akelo, Mitoma, Mbarara, Ivanda, Jennifer, Maracha, Dr. Emily, Betty, Lee, August Lee, Atima Lee, Goli, Bukedea, Aleptong, Zombo, no, Dr. Yume, Ate, Sharifa, Ngora, and then Vice Chair of Budget, Achia, and I echo. Even Mama Mavenjin and Helen. Speak to your motion.
Madam Speaker, the object of the Income Tax Amendment Bill is to amend the Income Tax Act to provide for exemption of startup businesses established by citizens for the period of 3 years from tax, to extend the tax exemption of Ujagari hydropower project up to June 30th, 2032, and to amend Schedule 2 of the Act to prescribe the International Atomic Energy Agency as a listed institution, and also for other related matters. I submit, Madam Speaker.
Chair.
Right Honorable Speaker, the committee considered the bill and the report original, I beg to lay. Madam Speaker, I would like to go straight to the real issues, since the object of the bill has been clearly said. Tax exemption for Bujagari hydropower project. Clause 2A of the bill provides for an amendment of section 21(1)(ab) to extend the tax exemption of Bujagari power project to 30th June 2032. Section 21(1)(ab) of the Income Tax Act, Cap 338, provides that the income of Bujagari hydropower project is exempt from income tax up to 30th June 2024. On the 20th of February 2025, Parliament passed the Income Tax Amendment Bill exempting the income of Bujagari hydropower project from tax up to 30th June 2025. The bill was, however, has not yet been assented by the President. The amendment seeks to substitute Section 1(ab) of Section 21 in order to exempt the income of Bujagari hydropower project up to 30th June 2032 from the income tax for a period of 7 years. The committee was informed that the power purchase agreement between the government and Bujagari hydropower project runs up to 2032, and that the government committed in the agreement to provide income tax exemption for the period of the agreement. The committee observed that by extension of the Bujagari hydropower project tax exemption, the anticipated increase in the generation tariff from United States of America cents 8.31 to US cents 9.6 per unit will be averted, establishing the end user tariff at an average of 459.8 of a new subparagraph ZA to exempt income derived from a business established by a citizen after 1st July 2025 for a period of 3 years, where 1. the business is registered with an investment capital not exceeding 500 million Uganda shillings. 2. where the citizen or their associate has not previously benefited from the exemption, and 3. the citizen files a tax return, including business information return referred to in this section 147 of the Act, in the formation prescribed by the Commissioner General. The committee was informed that the principle is aimed at promoting entrepreneurship and innovation. The committee observed that 1. the 3-year exemption period is a good proposal, given that the majority of the new businesses stand to benefit from this exemption. It has been noted that many businesses in Uganda rarely reach their 5th anniversary of their operations. The proposal will promote formalization of the SMEs by encouraging business registration as a requirement for qualification for the said exemption. And 3, the proposed registration with an investment capital not exceeding 500 million Uganda shillings is a reasonable threshold for many startup businesses. And 4, the bill provides for a business to be registered with an investment capital not exceeding 500 million. The provision as it is subject to misinterpretation that the investment capital must be registered. However, the intention of the provision is to have a registered business with an investment capital not exceeding 500 million. There is need to amend the provision to reflect that it is a registered business which has invested 500 million. The committee therefore recommends that clause 2bi should be amended to reflect that it should be a registered business which has invested capital not exceeding 500 million Uganda shillings, other than a business registered with an investment capital not exceeding 500 million. 4.4, exemption of a tax on chemicals for agricultural use. Clause 2c provides for insertion immediately after the words agricultural use, the word or, and the committee noted that this would provide clarity in the existing exemption relating to chemical manufacturers. It clarifies that the exemption applies only to chemicals intended for agricultural or industrial use, thus removing the ambiguity. The committee recommends that chemicals intended for agricultural use be exempted from tax as proposed in the bill. 4.5, exemption of capital gains tax on transfer of assets. Clause 3 of the bill proposes to substitute section 76(4), subsection 4a, in order to amend the definition of reorganization to indicate that the transfer of business assets can be made by a natural or a legal person and not a company alone. The committee was informed by the Minister of Finance, Planning and Economic Development that the proposal is intended to offer rollover relief to permit businesses to restructure for efficiency and strategic flexibility without being burdened by the capital gains tax when there is no significant change in underlying ownership of the business. The committee observed that the amendment will make it possible for individuals who own assets to transfer them to companies that they own or control as part of the restructuring the business without having to incur capital gains tax. Further, by removing the tax barrier for such transactions, the amendment will enhance efficiency, simplify restructuring, and provide clarity in the law. The committee therefore recommends that the proposal to exempt businesses which are transferring assets to another person other than an individual controlled by the transferor or the shareholders should be adopted. Increase in digital service tax. Right Honourable Speaker and colleagues, Clause 4 of the bill provides and proposes an amendment to Section 86 of the Principal Act to provide for a new subsection 5, indicating that the section shall not apply where a non-resident person is deriving income from providing digital services in Uganda to an associate in Uganda. Another new subsection 6 is proposed to provide that Section 82 or 84 of the Act shall apply to the income of a non-resident person derived from providing digital services in Uganda for an association in Uganda. The committee was informed that currently all non-resident entities that render services in Uganda through digital platforms are required to pay 5% digital service tax on this income. Under Section 82, a consumer of a service from a non-resident is required to withhold on the payment made to those non-resident entities at a rate of 15%. The differential tax rates incentivize the multinational enterprises to extract most of their income from Uganda through digital services, which poses a revenue risk. To address this, the committee observed the proposed amendment includes related party transactions from DST. Instead, transactions between non-resident and digital service providers and their Uganda associate will be taxed under a withholding tax regime provided for in Section 82 and 84 of the Income Tax Act. Section 82 provides for a tax on international payment, and Section 84 provides for a tax on payments to non-resident contractors or professionals. The committee therefore recommends that the amendment be passed as proposed in the bill to enhance compliance and improve revenue. 4.7, exemption of International Atomic Energy Agency from tax. Clause 5 of the bill proposes an amendment to Schedule 2 to the Principal Act to insert the International Atomic Energy Agency, IAEA, under Schedule 2 as one of the listed institutions under the Act. The IAEA was established in 1957 as an autonomous agency within the UN system and is headquartered in Vienna, Australia, and Uganda gained membership to this institution, IAEA, in 1967. This implies that the income earned by IAEA will be exempt from tax. As of principle, all UN-related agencies are required to be listed under the second schedule of the Income Tax Act. The committee therefore recommends that the International Atomic Energy Agency, be tax exempted as proposed in the bill. In conclusion, Right Honourable Speaker and colleagues, the committee recommends that the Income Tax Amendment Bill Number 2, 2025 be passed subject to the proposed amendments. I beg to submit.
Thank you. Thank you, Chair. Honorable Ibrahim.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. I'll just go to the areas of disagreement. And number one, the lack of policy and studies to support the bill. Madam Speaker, there is a commitment by Finance Minister, the Honorable Matia Kasaija, to move away from annual piecemeal tax proposals. This commitment is contained in the Domestic Revenue Mobilization Strategy for 2019/2023/24. And this is what the Minister said, the Honorable Matia Kasaija. In order to achieve our revenue potential, we will move away from ad hoc annual tax policy changes. These piecemeal adjustments with little alignment to an overreaching strategy have created a high degree of unpredictability and uncertainty in our tax policy direction. The Domestic Revenue Mobilization Strategy will address this as well as ensure that our future tax policy embodies the principle of simplicity, fairness, citizen welfare, and sustainability. It cannot be the same minister asking Parliament to maintain what he says causes uncertainty in the sector. Piecemeal ad hoc proposals. If he has forgotten, you, Parliament, have a duty to remind him of this commitment. The domestic revenue mobilization strategy came of age last financial year because it is wonderful. Honorable Kasaija even extended it. We must help him to stick to it. The help is in the form of rejecting these piecemeal proposals. The Committee on Finance, which today in the majority report proposes approval, needs to revisit its own report on income tax amendment bill last year. Chaired by the same person, the committee stated thus: the frequent amendment of tax laws has caused challenges to both the taxpayer and Uganda Revenue Authority while administering taxes. It cannot be the same committee now entertaining and recommending what it noted was full of challenges. So as we remind the Honorable Matia Kasaija, now not here in fresh, but represented by Honorable Musasi, we also need to remind the Committee on Finance that this is what you recommended last year. Point number 2, specifically on Bujagai, right, Honorable Speaker. About 2 months ago, to be exact, on February 4th, Junior Minister, the Honorable Henry Musasizi, tabled before Parliament the Income Tax Amendment Bill 2025, which Parliament approved on February 20th, exempting the income of Jagari hydropower up to 30th June 2025, just about 2 months ago. This particular bill of the 2 months ago has not, as the majority committee members note, has not been assented to. The same minister has brought another amendment for Jagari. The reason he's doing so is because on May 18th, 2022, you, Parliament, refused...
Honorable Semuji, just a correction that it was assented to. I have a assented copy.
I take note of that, Madam Speaker. Both of us in the committee, we were told it hadn't been assented to, but we take the information. The reason the Honorable Musasizi is trafficking these piecemeal amendments to benefit Bujagali is because on May 18th, 2022, you Parliament refused to grant Bujagali a 5-year tax exemption extension. Bujagali was first granted this sort of exemption in 2017, which was 5-year ending 2022. In 2022, Honorable Musasi sought another 5-year extension, which Parliament refused. He now resorted to annual amendments, like he did 2 months ago. He brought one, now he's bringing another. I think he has now returned in full gear with a request to extend the Bujagali tax exemption for 7 years. The reason you Parliament declined to extend the exemption beyond a year was largely because the objective purpose for which it was granted had not been met. The objective was reduction of the power tariff. While Bujagali continued making abnormal profits, the tariff continued raising. There is even an ad hoc committee report to this effect. The ad hoc committee of Parliament found out that by 2021, Bujagali had benefited from a 388 billion tax exemption.
Procedure.
Madam Speaker, my honorable colleague, brother, keeps referring in his statement that you, Parliament, is excluding himself as if he's not a member of this Parliament. I don't know why he doesn't say us, Parliament. He keeps excluding himself in his statement, saying you, Parliament. But isn't he a member of this House, part of this Parliament? Thank you.
The speaker can't rule on even that. You go to the school and
It is collective responsibility. We passed it and it is us.
go and teach English.
I don't want to do work that is not mine. Teaching English. I am presenting a report to Parliament. I can't say I, Parliament. I am now before you to judge me. Can I, Madam Speaker, continue?
Can you finish?
I am. This matter is serious. You need to understand it. Yeah. So.
Honorable Sam, would you finish?
While Bujagari continued making abnormal profits, the tariff continued raising. There is even an ad hoc committee report to this effect. The ad hoc committee found out that by 2021, Bujagari had benefited from a shilling 388 billion tax exemption. That's why you, Parliament, refused to extend the exemption. The Honorable Musasizi is now daring you. He is checking both your memory and resolve. Table, this is in the report, Honorable Musasizi. I'll give you a copy. The table below is showing the income on which we are supposed to correct a tax as of 2021. This is from the ad hoc committee report. It was 1.2 trillion and the tax we were supposed to have corrected was 388 billion, which we didn't. Every year we continue exempting. The certificate of financial implication for the income tax claims that end user electricity tariff will reduce from 481.7 to 459.8 per unit. This is not true, because currently the tariff is at 892. When you pay 10,000, you get 11.20 units. Babysitting Bujagari. The Auditor General also raised serious issues about Bujagari business ethics, which government must explain before asking for any further exemption. For example, Bujagari wrongly claimed 114,114 US dollar as part of insurance. Yet this obligation was supposed to be met by its supplier and not government. Although residence statuses for SGBHL and SNPINBV were confirmed for Mauritius and Netherlands respectively, validation of their status as beneficial owners of the dividends had not been processed. And although government is a proud owner of shares in this company, it is receiving no dividends when profits are declared. That's why the Auditor General recommended negotiating with other shareholders in Bujagari with a view of government acquiring shares that provide voting rights. It should be noted that government doesn't participate in the appointment of Bujagari's directors, nor does it have a representative on the board. This minority report therefore recommends that before this extension is granted, the comprehensive cost-benefit analysis of the tax exemptions to determine the value for money is necessary. We need to assess the impact of the exemptions on the electricity tariff, the financial viability of the Bujagari project, and the overall economic benefits to the country. We must also comply with the recommendations of our ad hoc committee on Bujagari and the special audit report on the same regarding Energy, Bujagali Energy Limited in respect to renegotiating the terms in the public-private partnership. And government must recover all excess payments made to Bujagali Energy Limited. So what follows is just the history. I don't have to go through this. Colleagues can read it to refresh yourself where this all started. Madam Speaker, thank you very much.
Thank you, Honorable Ibrahim. Honorable Nathan.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. I want to thank Honorable Semuju and colleagues. Colleagues, Bujagali is a very touchy issue, and I'm just trying to come to add on a few issues so that you take care when you try to grant periods. First of all, the amended income tax of 2024-25 is wrong because we had already passed a law. What would have been was to remit tax, either to waive the tax because already income had been earned and it's already subject to. So what you have to do, Attorney General, I am advising that law is wrong. You may have to go back and come here for a waiver. I just give free advice. No, the one which you have just amended in February, where you came here and we passed it in a very, this one which Madam Speaker said, it has been assented to. Yeah, you proposed, but for them, they went and changed it different. Okay, Madam Speaker, Madam Chair and the colleagues, 7 years is quite big. It's quite big. And Honorable Musasizi, with my younger brother, is trying to take the advantage of the next election so that the new parliament which will come may not see this. But we must be careful with what we're doing. One, the true story is that this company has been exempted from tax from 2011 to 2024. It's not here as 20, the one they were coming, it's because it had expired, that's why they were coming. Number two, between 2006 to 2012, they charged interest of 15%, and this interest, they never paid the withholding tax. And this means they have a tax to pay. And by the ad hoc committee at that time, they found it was $63 million. Now, the money they have taken illegally by the, as Honorable Semuja said, it's 308, but as we speak now, it is over $800 million. And we want to be clear what is happening. One, everybody in that agreement, under the agreement, will be after maintenance costs, miscellaneous charges, operational costs, and a return on investment. Return on investment is that if you have invested your money, you get a return. And the return on investment in this project is 19%. Now, given that they have already got a return on investment, which is treated as an expense, there is no way you will make now a profit to be subjected to corporation tax. In reality, what is meaning that they are overcharging us so that they can have an excess to be termed as a profit, which again they are coming should not be taxed. In reality, that would be the money to be remitted back to the consolidated fund. Because it means we gave you 10 million, when your expenses, including return, is 9 million, the balance of 1 million should be refunded to the consolidated fund. I'm not aware who is in this. Madam Chair and the colleagues, this project changes investors every year. And the reason why it is a very lucrative business. Within 1 year, you put in your investment, you get it back with a huge return. Every year, in fact, if we can tell you for information, Total, in this now which is trying to work on energy, has also bought now what? Shares. By next year, to sell it at a profit. So this investment which changes shareholders every year and at a big margin means the people of Uganda are being fleeced of their meager resources, which could be used in another area. The ad hoc report, it was very clear, and if it was implemented, it would be very far. Recently, when we asked IFC a question about this, the president of IFC said, oh, that one, keep quiet, don't talk about it. It needs when we're behind the doors. We said, what is the reason? He said, you know, those are complicated things. And I can tell you these are complicated things because there's some person here who is lying the president of Uganda that if we don't do it, we're in a problem. And I would ask colleagues to read a book called The Economic Hitman. It's a very vital book. And if you read, you will see that the economic hitmen are here in Uganda, both in our government and outside our government. So I want to make a proposal that given this, we shouldn't allow Ujagale any exemption. We should only ask them that all the money you get as excess should be remitted to the consolidated what? Fund. Number two is that the report of the Auditor General, which was done recently, be implemented. And the ad hoc committee also be implemented. If we do it, it will go a long way to address this. Attorney General, I'm willing to escort you to the president to go and explain this, because I think when you are there, you fear him. I want to go and explain to him. Now, the legal issue here, the legal issue says here, they say this agreement can be reviewed. There's a clause in this agreement which can be what? Reviewed. So, Attorney General, for you being a very intelligent guy, whom we know, you should advise the government that it's high time we reviewed the agreement. If reviewing the agreement does not need 7 years, it needs even 1 week. I know your brain. So given it does, we have attached to the report of what we discussed. Given this, I would request colleagues that as a parliament, we reject this 7 years. And if the Attorney General wants, we can give him only 1 month to do it.
How much time?
We can give Attorney General 1 month to handle this matter.
Would this not be a breach of our part of the negotiation? I just want to know.
It won't, because we would have reviewed it long ago. But if, Madam Speaker, you want to insist on the review and the Attorney General needs time, we can give him maybe between 6 months to 1 year.
Okay.
You know, this Attorney General, you see yesterday, he produced a bill, helped a colleague to produce a bill last night. For you KK, to accept 2 paragraphs without reading, you, whom I know. So, Madam Speaker, I want to move in that.
Now, these members of the committee
Jana?
Yes, this member.
Madam Speaker, I am in support of the report of the minority, but let me point out a few things. And I'll read this, which I've extracted from the ad hoc committee report that we adopted. The hemorrhage and repatriation of resources from Uganda have been modernized through treaties and MOU, so on and so on. I'm now modifying this to say the hemorrhage and repatriation of resources is now being modernized through Parliament.
No, through agreements like Umeme, like Bojagali, like those are the bad agreements.
Yes, because Parliament has the power to deal with it. Now, if I can recall, where is income tax imposed? What is the basis of imposing income tax? Is that I have traded, I have, yes, so until now you reach profit before tax, and then you impose. If I don't make profit, am I liable to pay income tax according to law of Uganda? No. So all these exemptions and the years mean they have been making profit. And we have been gracious enough to be able to provide that. It is now the right time, and we are struggling raising resources, Madam Speaker, that we pay attention to this matter and stick by what Parliament agreed. Madam Speaker, if I may address you on this, there is what we call pricking your own eye. You were in the chair when these ad hoc committee recommendations were adopted. It cannot be you, Madam Speaker, presiding over and throwing away the child that you produce in this ad hoc committee report. And that is the issue that I want to bring to your attention. We don't want to be a laughing stock. That people think Parliament is so forgetful, Parliament does not recall what they have done, and these are the ridiculous. We suffer as members of Parliament. Immediately we pass this, people then start questioning and say, are they MPs? Did they go to school? Do they read? This house must be consistent. We must follow the precedent we have set. And all I am now asking is, these recommendations, which I can refresh, a few has been cited. One is that Bell should refund $342 million in excess payment. In excess payment. Then there is another one where Ministry of Finance was supposed to account for $2.83 million. Last year, when we graciously, on your own plea, Madam Speaker, I have not extracted, I was not able to read through the Hansard, but I vividly remember, you told us, honorable members, these things are not cast in the stones. We are not going away. Next year we are there. The year has come. It is here, Madam Speaker. You cannot go away from your own word. It is a ruling. It is the point of law.
I am not the one voting. I am not the one who has brought the amendment. I am only chairing.
Thank you. So, Madam Speaker, with that assurance, when the nays have it, when the nays have it,
they have already voted.
I hope that we shall stand by that. Lastly, Madam Speaker, sometimes it's difficult to sympathize with government, the proposals. You were all Ugandans in the first place. But I think that the ministers and the attorney generals, you have a duty to help. The number of businesses suffering in Uganda, paying taxes, and they hear that we parliamentarians are granting people who are already playing golf, people who are flying private jets to go and enjoy from this. And this parliament is seated and is saying yes. And we have just passed more taxes here to touch on people. It doesn't make sense. It defeats logic. Schools are suffering.
Let Jonah finish.
Chair, for me, Madam Speaker, I'm usually very courteous. If a member wants to give me information, if there is time, I allow. Because that's the essence of debate. Whether you want to shoot my point or not, let him give that information.
Thank you. I want to appreciate the Honorable Dur. We have just proposed that all companies that have invested or intend to invest by 1st July 2025 are exempted from income for 3 years. So we cannot say that we're not helping Ugandans.
Thank you. That is okay. Me, I'm talking of evidence. There are reports published by Ministry of Finance that shows that Ugandan companies cannot go beyond 5 years. What is the issue? It is taxation. Yes. So, yes. So, Madam Speaker, what I am saying is, as representative of the people, we should be sensitive to the Ugandans who are toiling day in and day night, and who have been requesting also to be exempted, and they do not. I don't want to go into the other details, but many people seated even in this parliament are business owners. We know what people are going through. So I want to invite your indulgence, Madam Speaker, to restore respect in this parliament. Let's stand by the resolutions we have made. Otherwise, we will be a laughing stock. You have just told us how you are nearly, but for me, I regretted already how we took a decision on RAPEX. Do not come here next year and tell us we again made the mistake.
You tell the
I want now to
here.
point out to the minister, the last point, to see what I would now term the fraud. When you make a tax bill and then you propose in the commencement, the act shall be deemed to have come into force on 1st July 2024. That is retrospective legislation. It can only be done when the facts of the amount.
It is 2025.
Okay. I think I missed something. I was looking at that. I'm sorry if that went off. But what I am saying is, lastly, this parliament should do its work and allow any other parliament going to come after us, we may be members or not, to come and make its decision. To say 7 years, 8 years and something, I think will be very disrespectful of the future parliament. So I invite that once we take a decision, either way, let's be respectful of the constitution and know that the mandate of the 12th parliament should be respected. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Yes, Karim.
Before you say something,
No,
I've been given permission. Honorable
Let
Minister,
him say
please
then
take your
you
seat.
respond.
Thank you very much, Chair. I've been part of this Bujagali thing, and my chair, Honorable Katesh, we've looked at this thing for the last 4 years. The years we've been in Parliament and as part of the ad hoc committee. And if I recall well, the Attorney General did agree with us on the committee. And he said whatever happened, happened because the country was in a crisis of electricity, and the President wanted us to solve this problem because the country was facing shortage with electricity. That is why some of these things were done hurriedly. I don't know if you recall, Attorney General, but that was in one of the meetings captured in the report of the ad hoc committee. So
this agreement was done in 2007.
There was, yes, Attorney General, what I'm stating, when you came before the committee, you did agree with us and said by the time when the first agreement was signed, there was a crisis in the country. So there was a renegotiation that was done on to this agreement. And when you showed us the agreement, I think that was 2022-23, there was still a window where government has the powers to come and renegotiate again with these people, which I do believe, Attorney General, you agree with me on. When you look at our ad hoc committee report, we did recommend that government renegotiates with Bujagali. The Auditor General should do an audit and then all that. And when the minister was before the floor of Parliament here, requested for time for the Auditor General to finish his work, and then we review this matter once again. The Auditor General is done with that special audit report. And one of the recommendations is still to renegotiate this agreement when you look at the special audit report. So I don't know why the minister is now rushing to propose up to 2032, that the amendment covers up to 2032, instead of him coming to present before this Parliament what they have done to implement on the report of the ad hoc committee and on the report of the Auditor General. So my view is, because we do not want the electricity tariffs to go up, we need the minister to tell us, in my view, as Honorable Nandal had suggested, 1 year or 6 months is good enough. So maybe if you're requesting for a period of 1 year to implement all the recommendations that the ad hoc committee did suggest, and what the Auditor General has recommended, that would be understandable. We would know that the next Parliament, even if we are not here, will do work on our behalf, on behalf of the Ugandans, to see how best we can save taxpayers' money. So my view is, and the one we had raised was the income of Bujagali power plant to be exempted up to 30th of June 2026. That is 1 year, which we believe the next Parliament will have work to do and look into this and see how best they can solve this problem.
Honorable Karim has a right to suggest what he thinks. So there's a procedural matter.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. Right Honorable Speaker and Chair, you need to rein into the Honorable Minister. These are his proposals, and members are debating them. When he rises, it's an act of intimidation on members, and he needed to calm down and listen to the members.
Matthias, you wanted to respond to what was being raised.
No, let him be patient. Right Honorable Speaker, the procedural matter I'm raising is that a house you did preside over ordered for an inquest via an ad hoc committee. And I remember you wrote to me officially then as law, and I seconded the Honorable Karim and the Honorable Mwanga Chivombi. And they did a wonderful job. Without an action taken report before this house, are we not being taken for a ride in the park? For the minister to return here with a fresh proposal to again revisit a matter on which the House made a decision, very clear decision, and with no action, no report on action taken, Right Honourable Speaker. Right Honourable Speaker, wouldn't you guide procedure of this House to ask of the Minister to take leave of this matter and apologize and respect this House and remove the next matter, Right Honourable Speaker?
Honourable Attorney General, tell us the impact.
Right Honourable Speaker, I just want to make one point really.
Honourable Duru says we need to renegotiate.
Well, he's saying we need to renegotiate. It takes two to negotiate. It takes two to negotiate. So Parliament can say go and renegotiate, but if the other party is not renegotiating, there will be no renegotiation. Now, the tax waiver, the discretion to give or not to give the tax waiver is really with Parliament, and that one is perfectly fine. What I can only tell you is that, for me, I can only read the agreement that's before me. And the calculation for the tariff is as follows. Let me read it. Because for me, I'm just sharing information because, yeah, this is the computation in clause 4.1 of the computation of the capacity payment. The capacity payment for any month M shall be calculated as follows.
First, I need an answer on what is the implication of giving or not giving.
That's what I'm saying. The implication of not giving is that the corporate income tax is just loaded back onto the tariff. When you're computing the tariff, you put in the repayment tariff date, you put in the interest on the tariff debt, you put in the tariff equity repayment, you put in the capital income, the corporate income tax, you put in other tax components, you put in the monthly O&M fees, you put in the miscellaneous charges, and then you get the tariff. So if the tariff is 4 and we don't give the tax waiver, all they have to do is add back that figure and put the tariff. So it's that simple. Colleagues, let me finish. Please listen to me. Colleagues, no, you see for me, you see for me, my job is just to interpret the contract as I have it. What its eventual number will be, is not mine. I don't know what the number will be. I don't know whether the tariff will go higher or lower. But what I know is that if we do not waive the tax, it will be added. I don't know whether the experts will tell you. Right Honourable Speaker and Chairs, Right Honourable Speaker, the other issue that I wanted to no, the tax is on profit, yes, and that's the point. Let me, Honourable Nandala, you see, for me, I have read the report of the ad hoc committee, and it has said that government lost, is it $348 million. All we are waiting for is instruction to go and recover $348 million through court or not. The other experts did not hold the same view. So for us, but Right Honourable Speaker and Honourable colleagues, the issue that we need to address our minds to, and calmly, and like Honourable Masaba said, it was not a terribly good agreement, but it is what we have. It was not a good agreement, but it is what we have. We've been agitating over like Umeme that we've just finished. It is what we have. That's the agreement we have before us. So what I'm saying, let me finish, because for me, for me what I'm saying to colleagues, yes.
Honourable members, let the Attorney General finish.
Let me finish.
No, let the Attorney General finish.
What I'm saying, colleagues, is that for me, what I am saying.
Let the Attorney General finish.
Let me finish.
Honourable Semuju.
Let me finish, please.
No, he has not. He's not the one chairing the House. Please, from the minister, the owner.
Madam Chair.
Even Nathan had the same.
Madam Speaker, whereas I appreciate what Honorable Karim is putting on table, conditioning it on the term of this parliament is something I don't agree with. Why? In 2017, I was the chairperson of the Finance Committee. That was the first time this proposal was brought to the House. We gave an exemption of 5 years, which 5 years stretched to another term of Parliament. Madam Speaker, yes, Madam Speaker, this contract, this agreement expires in 2032.
42. The agreement is 42. The loan is 32.
Is 32, yes. We have been coming here every other time. And why we thought of asking for 7 years was to avoid a situation of coming here every year to ask for an extension. And that is why I still pray that Parliament allows us the 7 years.
Order on what?
Right Honourable Speaker, the Honourable Minister, who was the chair of the Finance Committee, has rightly told us that in 2017, I heard him clearly, that they gave exemption for 5 years. The minister knew that this particular agreement expires in 2032. As chair of the committee then, why didn't you extend to 2032? You gave them 5 years. Why? So is it in order for the minister?
You give what you asked. He didn't have powers to suggest on his own.
No.
Honorable
Can I conclude my point, Right Honourable Speaker? So this is a point of order to the minister, Right Honourable Speaker. Right Honourable Chair. Is he in order now to tell us that we should extend to 2032, when at that time he was chair and he knew about this agreement and he knew the terms? So is he in order, Right Honourable Speaker?
What is the difference between now and 32?
2032, he was a chair then.
I am asking what's the difference between now and 2032?
Right Honourable Chair, it is 7 years away from now. And the House is saying our term ends in 2026. Can we, Right Honourable Chair, since we extended by 1 year previously?
You want to debate or you're asking for an order?
Okay, is it in order for the chairperson of the Committee of Finance, who is now, former chair, who is now the Minister of Finance, to come here and speak for Bujagali and ask the House to extend for 7 years, when at that time he knew about the details of this contract and only gave them 5 years? Why didn't he propose beyond the 5 years, Chair?
Actually, Honorable Sarah, it is you is not in order, because you don't have what to say and you just wanted to say whatever.
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker.
It has not been added. Yes.
Right Honourable Speaker, before the minister comes in, for me the issue I want him to address is the issue that for every exemption that we give is a gap that is created, or a void that must be filled as a burden by other taxpayers. And that means, like we previously debated, we actually asked you to come back with the computation of the projection that we are meant to waive, so that we know, like the Honorable Nandalama Fabi has said, that previously we've waived to the tune of about $800 million. So what is the projection of the waiver that we are going to give for the next 7 years? So that you come out and you boldly tell the country that our projection for the next 7 years is to waive about $1 billion. So that the people know that the Honorable Musasizi, Minister of Finance, went to Parliament and told Ugandans that we are going to waive $1 billion of corporate income tax from Bujagali. Therefore, for me, I would like to agree with you that first of all, you're not informed about the figures. And because you yourself, you're not informed about the figures, you cannot come to us with clean hands and tell us to commit Ugandans for the next 7 years. A waiver, that's what I said in 2017. And that is what I'm saying now, because we've reaped nothing. As a result, the Honorable Speaker, as a result, the ad hoc committee came up with a report to show that you actually given Ugandans air. They have lost over $345 million. The reason is that you move us blindly, and we shall not accept to waive a multinational income tax for 7 years, much beyond our mandate and our term of office.
We are trading on
If it was done before, it would.
Honorable members, we are trading on blames. A mistake was made. It is there. We will live with it. Let's now agree how much time.
Should we sanitize the mistake? We should.
Why you sanitized Umeme? Why don't you buy out? Buy out.
If there is.
I only want a suggestion on a balance.
Right Honorable Chair.
Madam Chair, Omeme Uganda Limited has been a thorn in our flesh for so long. The President has always complained that this was actually a very bad deal. Madam Speaker, for 250 megawatts, the project cost was over $900 million, close to $1 billion. In addition to that, we have been giving them waivers. For all these years, we have been giving them waivers, coming to over $600 million. Madam Speaker, the cost of our power, our tariff, is caused by this bad project of Omeme, of Bujagali. And because of that, it contributes to 40% of the cost, of the tariff costs. So, as Ugandans, we need to decide at once whether we clear this thing at once and we forget about it, or we continue suffering. Because when you come to the investors, the tariff, the industries cannot manage. We cannot manage. And now when we now tell them that we now increase.
Paul, when an elder is speaking, you sit down.
Yeah. Now, when we object with this waiver, I know Ugandans are not mindful of the cost. They are going to add the corporation tax, then the tariff will be too high. And our industries will not manage, and we cannot manage. The President has always quarreled with those who negotiated. My suggestion is that giving it for 7 years, Madam Speaker, we are overstepping. Let us go incrementally, as we weigh. Let's give them 1 year as they negotiate. I believe the finance will actually negotiate, because we might give them this our recommendation and they will sit on it. We give them 1 year because we don't want our people also to suffer.
Gone.
Honorable Speaker, at least I've been a part of this House for that time, even when we had all these debates. And there are many questions. One of them was, when we give you the waivers, will we be able to see the reduction in the tariff? For that reason, we need that time so that we're able to go through all these calculations and submissions. My submission is, let us give 2 years, because those 2 years will give us the opportunity to look through. And yes, 2 years. 2 years. That will give us, because right now even we are going for elections. Madam Chair, I was still speaking. Madam Chair, I was still speaking. I wanted to justify my statement. Number one, right now people are running to constituencies.
Madam Speaker.
Yes.
I want to make just some few corrections. Colleagues, I want to make corrections, and I'm happy my chairman Amos knows it, Katesh knows. Those who know, a profit is you get income minus expenses, and if the expenses are less than the income, you make a profit, and it's the profit you subject to income tax. In this case of Bujagari, the expenses are the following: miscellaneous charges, which my Attorney General mentioned, operation and maintenance, that is OM, interest on loans borrowed, and that's the debt, interest on debt borrowed. The third issue which would have been after making profit, then you make a return, has also been expensed, which is a return on income, investment, and this is at 19%. We can also treat it as also interest, which is expense, and miscellaneous charges. Colleagues, if you have agreed that return on investment is an expense, then there will be nothing where to make a profit, because everybody has been what? Covered. And if we get zero, multiply by 30%, it means it will be what? Zero. So this formula was done to just make us worried, but in reality there's no worry. So two, the people who are remitting the money to the generation are remitting too much money. In fact, they should remit money equal to paying those
Honorable
costs.
Nathan, can we?
That's what I'm coming to move, madam. So that's paying cost to that. And so because of that, I think, colleagues, we need to understand in that context. And so I want to plead with government that it is the time you review the agreement. I think the agreement, when we are reviewing, does not need a lot of what? Time. Because we passed the other time the law, I think when we made the ad hoc committee, we made it in 2022, and by now it should have been reviewed. So now the second one is about our refund. The Attorney General is saying the refund can't be done. We don't have evidence that the money we told you to collect, you have failed, because we have a lot of debt collectors.
Nathan, can we conclude?
So, Madam Chair,
I have about 5 laws to complete.
5 clauses.
Laws.
So,
5 bills.
So, Madam, we must get a middle point.
Including political parties.
Yeah. Political parties. So, political parties. Colleagues, I am one of those who has been on zero, but I want to say, for purposes of Muhammad to move, we want to move an amendment. 37 years is out of question. It should have been less than 6 months, but for purpose of us to move, let us allow you 1 year to resolve these problems, and it is for the good of the country.
Katesh.
Madam Speaker, there is no doubt that if we did not have Bujagari in our energy mix, the tariffs would be very low. If we did not have Bujagari. The reason we have high tariffs is because we have Bujagari in our energy mix, because we did a bad agreement with a lot of commitments, and the only way out is for government to look at the loan, because the loan resulting in the return on investment of 19% is what is making the capacity payments very high. So for us to commit a longer period, I think we should allow me to finish. Let me finish my point. I was the chair of the ad hoc committee. The information we have, Madam Speaker, rather than us committing a longer period, yet it can give us a room as government to actually maybe have resources to settle the loan and reduce these payments. We can allow 1 year, and then the ministry can come back here on the actions they are willing to take so that we keep moving forward.
Minister.
Madam Chair, Madam Chair.
Yes.
I wish to plead with the House to allow me 3 years.
Honorable members, you know, there is always a solution from LOP. Maybe once LOP a middle ground to 2 years. There's always a...
Honourable Speaker, I think that government and the Attorney General needs to help us here to come clean. Because here you are mentioning that the power purchase agreement between the government and the Bujagali hydropower project, which is to run up to 2032. You're saying that government committed to waive income tax. That's what is in the report of the committee. And let me get it for you here. We want to be helped. Can we, Right Honourable Speaker, Right Honourable Chair, how do we get a copy of that power purchase agreement? Where? So that we get the certainty of some of these things. That's number one. But number two, no, the library is not there. No, it's not there. Attorney General, I request that you share it with me right now. But number two, now that you have it, you know. Number two, Right Honourable Speaker, Right Honourable Chair, I am not an accountant. I'm a lawyer and a few other things. But you see, even for basic accounting, when you say that once there is no waiver, the tariff will go up, the tariff is already factored in